Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Before I could start, I would like to say Ramadan Kareem to all the Muslims worldwide. Today's story took place in 1983 in the city or the center of the city, Raqqa, which is located in Syria. In the lane called Sakhani, there was a greengrocer who used to work in this market placed in Souk al Hal. Souk al Hal basically is in many other countries. It actually means a place where vegetables and fruits are sold freshly from the farm. There was a person, Ahmed, he was one of the people who used to sell. He was a greengrocer. Now, there was another person who was sitting aimlessly or walking around, keeping his eye on the vendors or on the greengrocers. His aim was, or why he kept his eye on them, was to see who earned the most or who could be robbed easily. So that means he was a thief and he was trying to find every now and then a new victim. Now, Ahmed was lucky enough to sell whatever he had as a wholesale product, means everything all together. And therefore, he had a huge amount of money in his hand. And this was an opportunity here for this criminal to steal his money. Now, of course, this sum of money or this amount of money, a simple person like him, couldn't go and keep it in the bank because the grocers usually, what do? They sell whatever they have, and the next day they go and buy some more to sell in even more of a price. That's how it works. So he kept what he did. He took a plastic bag and he kept the money inside, wrapped it all up, and kept it in his jacket or his coat. He left for his house. He lived in the lane of Sur. That means the name of the lane was Sur. The robber here followed him to see where he was going to, and he found out that his house was on the lane of Sur. The house here was, I would say, a normal house, but the gate actually was made of mud. I mean, it was not that strong of a gate, and it was, I would say, the height was, it was low, it was not high. So he could easily get in, and he did. Now, the person here knew the system of how it works, that this person is going to take his money into the house and going to get more vegetables or buy more products the next day. Here, the criminal was actually waiting for the lights to turn off, and it was almost 2 o'clock. He did have a gun, and he was fully prepared to rob. As I said, it was almost 2 to 3 o'clock, and he made sure that they were asleep. He got into the house. He jumped over the fence or the gate and got into the house. When he got into the house, he, after checking the other rooms, arrived in the bedroom. When he opened the door, he found 2 beds, and there was a man and a woman. He went closer to the man, as close as he could go, to actually make sure that this is the man he was looking for. When he made sure, the next step was to find where the jacket was or the money was. But to his surprise, when he got closer to the man, he found that the jacket was actually hidden below his pillow. He could see it. Now, he was not here to kill. His aim was to rob. He went to the bed as close as he could to the man to pull out the jacket. The moment he tried to move the jacket or pull it out, here Ahmed woke up. Ahmed was so afraid and shocked at the same moment that he was petrified that he took his blanket all of a sudden and covered his face. And then he started saying that, "I beg of you, take whatever you want, but leave me alone." The man at this moment, where I say he entered with a torch and a gun and his aim was to rob, actually didn't at that moment have any pity or mercy. He shot the man twice from behind the blanket. You can imagine that you are asleep and you are in your home thinking that this is the place which is peaceful and you're in a calm and gentle environment, and all of a sudden when you wake up you see a man holding a gun on top of your head. The woman here, of course, she woke up and she was shocked and again at the same time so scared and petrified that she couldn't actually respond to this act. She didn't scream, she didn't talk, nothing whatsoever. She just sat there doing nothing. The woman here actually she was pregnant, almost the end of her pregnancy, I would say. At this point, when the man was sure that she's not going to say a word, as he said, if you say a word, I'm going to shoot you, just the way I did, he ran away. And of course, he ran away the way he got into the house. He jumped over the fence or the gate. And here the woman, when she realized that, and she was in the trauma, she was traumatized. When she was out of the trauma, she actually ran outside the house and started screaming for help. This is when the neighbors also realized that she was screaming. They all gathered and got into the house and found the man dead. The lane here was, everyone was awake and knew what a horrible thing had happened in this specific house. The first suspect was, of course, his wife. The woman here was the first suspect. Why would she be the first suspect? The police said that when your husband died, you could have just gone and screamed or asked for help. It took time. Why? She said that I was in a shock. I was so traumatized that I couldn't get off my bed. The moment I could just, have the courage to go out, I went out and I screamed for help. They said, fine, you did scream for help, but the man escaped and we don't know who he is. So it could be that there would be a specific reason that you have a relation with this man, or he's your partner, or you hired this man actually to get rid of your husband. So they asked her to confess. Of course, she didn't confess because none of these here were the reasons that she could be involved. She was not involved. She couldn't just get up. She was pregnant, and there were reasons. There could be a reason. It's not easy to see a person being shot just in front of your eyes and then go out of your bed and start screaming and gathering people for help. Not for everyone. Not everyone has that kind of courage. Anyways, she didn't confess, and that's why they kept her in prison for 1.5 years. And they also wanted to take her baby away from her child. And the prison administration insisted to do so. They said that he has nothing to do with his mother being involved in a crime. But later, after the officials had discussed this matter and the help of human rights, and they knew that the child here could be with his mother because he's still being breastfed by his own mom. Because actually, they don't know if this woman is involved. She was just a mere suspect, nothing else. Now, this woman could be innocent, but she was forced to speak or confess and admit. For 1.5 years during this time period, what had happened? Her family members and her husband's family members, they lost trust in her. And they couldn't believe her. They thought that she was the one who did it for some odd reason or the other. And the most popular reason where people actually think the woman she got rid of her husband could be that she had, again, a relation with some man, or she wants to get the money from her husband. I mean, this is the only reason. People also wished that the government or they could execute her because they thought she was the one who had done this thing, of course. Now, what happened to the man? He continued with what he was good at, of course, robbing people. He was a thief. He tried to avoid killing people, but he did it if he had to, if he had no other choice left. So he started robbing people. Now, he went to Hasaka. Hasaka, there is a gold souk, that is a gold market. And what happens here we're talking about 1983. So basically, at the end of the day, people didn't have that kind of high security system. So they used to take the gold or the jewelry, the gold jewelry, and they used to either take it to their house, or some people had that kind of security. I mean, the strong walls and the iron bars, or a proper lock, I would say, that they used to leave it in the market itself or the shop itself. Now, people who used to take it home under higher security, under the security provided, I would say, I wouldn't call it higher security or good security, they used to take it home. Now, there was a man. Again, he kept a watch on this man, kept his eyes on him, and he saw that this man used to take the keys of the shop to his house. And he paid proper attention that where his house was. Now, he did the same. He got into the house and took the keys and got out. He went to the shop, robbed whatever he could, basically everything, and he hired a taxi. He did hire a taxi already, and he went to Raqqa, the area of Raqqa, and then from area of Raqqa he went to the area of Al Halab, or Halab, I guess. Again, after settling in the area of Halab for 2 to 3 days, he planned to actually get back to what he was good at. Now, at this point, he got back and he wanted to get rid of the gold he had, or the jewelry. And the way of getting rid of this jewelry was by selling it, of course. That was why he robbed, actually. Now, he went to one of the shops and he was like, he didn't take everything. He took a few pieces so he wouldn't look suspicious. The shopkeeper, the man here, said that, yes, I would buy gold. I would buy anything you have. So when he went to this jeweler who was in Halab, and he said in one of the shops, and he said that I want to sell these few pieces and they belong to my wife and sisters and I want the money. And he said, yes, I do buy gold. And he did buy. And then the man here asked, of course, the criminal or the thief here asked that, can you buy more of the gold if I bring? He said, yeah, sure. Then the next day he got more and he said, actually, I'm bringing more of these jewelries because me and my family or my relatives are planning to get into a business. And that's why we are getting into the business with the women in the family. And they have planned to sell the gold they have. And then he said, of course, and he bought these pieces too. But then he got back again and said, I have more. I said there were few pieces, and then he got more, and now he was planning to get more, I would say, in bulk. The jeweler here got suspicious, and he said that, yeah, sure, he acted as if nothing was wrong, and he said, yeah, sure, this is what I do. But he does know that if someone gets gold in a huge quantity without a receipt and claims that he wants money, this could be something he has to inform to the security men or the police. And that would be the right thing to do. And he did do the right thing. So again, when he informed the police, and the police said that, see, if he comes back, you have to call us immediately. So here, when he arrived and he got, as I said, a lot of jewelry in bulk, here the jeweler said that, have a seat and I will buy everything you have. But I actually don't have that much money right now, but the shop just beside my shop is a shop belonging to my brother, so if you could just wait for a few minutes, I'll be back. He left and then informed the police from his brother's shop, and the police arrived. He did fall into the trap of greediness, and then the police caught him, and he at first, of course, confession is not the first thing that comes as person gets arrested, a criminal, I would say. But then he did confess that, yes, I have stolen this shop and that shop and whatever he stole. And the police kept on, went to his place and found more of what he had stolen in the past few years, I would say. Now, as he was confessing on whatever things he had stolen from all these years, he also admitted that he had taken from one of the owners in Hasaka. They brought the owner of the shop in Hasaka and he got the receipts, and all the gold that belonged to him was given back to him. Here, one of the sets, which were quite simple, they said, this is also yours. From among the things that had been stolen, he said no. He refused. He said, this doesn't belong to me or my shop. So, and it's actually an old Halabian design. It's not that new. So they started searching for the owner of this specific set of jewelry. They went to the other shops from where the other things were stolen, but everyone rejected or refused. They said, no, this doesn't belong to us. So it belongs to who? They went back to the criminal in the prison and said that now you have to confess. Whose is this? This is the only thing left, and we cannot find the owner of this specific thing. He said, I don't remember. They started hitting him, that you have to remember. Of course, he kept on repeating, I don't remember, I don't know, it's from one of the shops, of course. The reason was that he didn't want to get involved into a crime which is more than just a robbery. That is murder. He did murder the person, the man, years, I would say a year and a half, more than a year and a half ago, but didn't want to confess. But after being beaten and there was no way out, he thought that I think I would die this way or the other, so I would better confess. So he did admit that this belongs to a lady. He had actually he went to rob the man, but then he couldn't get the jacket easily out, so he killed the person on the spot. And when he saw his wife, he just asked her to keep quiet. And the reason he killed the man was actually because he saw his face. And then he went to the woman and said that keep quiet, and she was actually very traumatized, as he said that too. She wouldn't move, or she didn't spoke a word or screamed. So he just pulled out her jewelry, whatever she had, her earrings and this very simple necklace and a ring, and went away. He said that because these things were so simple, I thought that wouldn't be worth selling at that point. It wouldn't be worth it. So he kept it on side. When he aimed to sell the huge quantity of gold jewelry, here he took out this small piece and he said, let me get rid of this once and for all. The woman, after being blamed, she was holding this responsibility of something she didn't do. She said, when they showed her the jewelry, she said, yes, this is mine. And it is a gift which was given to me by my husband. That's it. She had the receipt too. She said, I do have the receipt and this belongs to me. Of course, she came out of the prison, and that's it. That's the story for today. And thank you for listening.